He had been run out of town, he had been smuggled out of town because of the transformation that took place in his life as a result of his encounter with God. And thus when Paul said, I can do all things through God who strengthens me, this wasn't some trite, pious, namby-pamby scripture verse that he just threw out at people trying to impress them. I can do all things through God who strengthens me. Paul knew that this was true even as he awaited his trial, and he wanted others to believe this as well. Wayne Dyer, in his book, Excuses Be Gone, talks about what he calls its mind viruses. Those mind viruses that we carry around within us. The problem comes for us when we begin to believe that these mind viruses are true. When we begin to believe them, then we begin to act on them. These mind viruses are so dangerous that they can begin to determine actually what we believe is possible and what we believe is not possible in our lives. If we focus on them enough, they begin to spread and duplicate and take over like viruses do. And pretty soon they can become the dominant force controlling our lives. I was struck this week as I listened to Nancy talk about how important our minds were in the process of achieving whatever physical goals we set for ourselves. She talked particularly about the right brain that offers that creative, positive, can-do voice. I have to say that my own right brain was almost silent and not strong enough at first to stand up to those mind viruses that were sending off all kinds of alarms, shouting out loud messages saying you're too old, you're too out of shape, you've never been able to get up in the morning, quit now before you humiliate yourself. It was obvious that I had to change my thinking before I could change my actions, or all of those self-defeating, powerful voices would win out. Wayne Dyer says, never underestimate your power to change yourself, and never overestimate your power to change others. I love that. Never underestimate your power to change yourself, and never overestimate your power to change others. I don't know about you, but I too often tend to reverse these as I focus more on thinking I have all this great power to change others, but have very little power to change myself. And I tend to want to direct my energy exactly in those directions and working on changing everybody else rather than changing myself. The spiritual practice of making and using affirmations is not about changing others. It's about changing ourselves. What Nancy helped model for me this week is that we do have the capacity to change any self-defeating habit or mind virus that is bringing us down, no matter what it is. A journey of 1,000 miles, she said this week, begins with that first step. And for many of us, that first step begins as we let go of whatever excuses we have been using to prevent us from taking the journey. Again, Wayne Dyer defines excuses as those self-limiting thoughts we use to explain why we are not living our lives to the absolute fullest, and thus being filled with purpose and being fully alive. We begin the process of saying, excuses be gone, by noticing how our own self-limiting thoughts and habits have been working to hold us back. This is where the concept of spiritual practice comes in. As Mark Twain says, habits are not to be flung out of the window, but are to be coaxed down the stairs, one step at a time. Listen to that again, because it's so powerful. Habits are not to be flung out the window, but are to be coaxed down the stairs, one step at a time. This idea of starting small has come up week after week this fall as we have moved through our Soul Food series about spiritual practice. Start small, but keep going with an unwavering discipline and commitment as you focus, focus, focus on being in the present moment. In your bulletin, you'll find Dr. Dyer's list of commonly used excuses for not living up to our full potential. He based this list on his own personal experience and reflection, and on what he's learned from clients down through the years. After each excuse, there's an affirmation that can help us release our own self-defeating patterns and thoughts and actions and move forward toward living an excuse-free life. We're going to read these out loud. I've asked different people to read each one of them, and you just listen as they read. Take it in and think about whether this applies to your life. I don't remember who's number one, Elaine.
I don't deserve it. Try this. I am a divine creation, a piece of God. Therefore, I cannot be undeserved.
Excuse. It will take a long time. Try this affirmation. I have infinite patience when it comes to fulfilling my destiny.
Excuse. It will be difficult. Try this affirmation. I have the ability to accomplish any task I set my mind to with ease and comfort.
Excuse. I can't afford it. Try this affirmation. I am connected to an unlimited source of abundance.
Excuse. I'm not strong enough. Try this affirmation. I have access to unlimited assistance. My strength comes from my connection to my source of being.
Excuse. I'm too old, or not old enough. I am an infinite being. The age of my body has no bearing on what I do or who I am.
Excuse. It's my personal family history. Try this affirmation. I live in the present moment by being grateful for all my life experiences as a child. Together.
Excuse. I'm too busy. Try this affirmation. As I unclutter my life, I free myself to answer the callings of my soul.
Excuse. I'm too scared. Try this affirmation. I can accomplish anything I put my mind to because I know that I am never alone.
Remember, we can do all things through God who strengthens us.